and welcome to Tech Total Access. I'm Jillian Hurd.
And I'm Brittany Coip. On today's show, we will be recapping games from each and every one of our Hokie sports teams.
The Virginia Tech football team continued with spring practice this week, and V2TV got exclusive interviews with players and coaches.
Spring's been going great. I've been improving a lot, and a lot of things have been getting better for me.
Now, I think that depth chart's changing every day. As soon as I get done with you guys, I'll go in there and watch video of practice and evaluate, and then meet with the players tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. and review practice with them. And then we'll watch it as coaches tomorrow morning again. So we're constantly evaluating every practice. Right now, I think he's been the most consistent. He's been a solid number 2 guy for us right now. JC's really, I think, has had a productive spring. Coach Searles is mad at me because I've got Marshawn listed below Joel on the depth chart right now. Nothing against Joel, but he sees Marshawn run the ball and wants him up there higher, and that'll take care of itself. The thing that I've challenged Marshawn to do, and the reason I didn't have him higher, is just finishing plays, playing full speed all the time when the ball is not going to him. When it's a pass and he needs to cover downfield, we're continuing to, harp on that about the tempo and effort we want to play with every play.
Backs are running hard, breaking tackles.
He really likes Marshawn running.
It makes us more confident up front. He's making plays, so we get more confidence. So we start feeling better about the way we are, and we actually become better. So I think he makes his football team a better team.
I didn't really know until I got a text from somebody, and I don't think it's it's set in stone. Nothing set in stone. Coach always says it's nothing set in stone. So, like I said, I got to come out here and compete every day because I can lose it tomorrow. You know what I mean? So just coming out here and competing and getting better. That's all I can do.
The depth chart is in our position, especially in the situation, it's a daily deal, and I expect that thing to change quite a bit, to be quite honest with you. So Motley played pretty good on Saturday, did some good things. Needs to become more consistent, but Mark didn't play because of an injury, so he earned the opportunity to be with the ones today. And will that change? I don't know. The way that I look at it, just like I've said 100 times, they're going to compete. They're going to compete all spring. We're going to get 2 guys May 28th. They're going to compete, and at the end of the day, we'll find our guy right before we kick off.
Quickly adjust.
I feel like last year we got it settled down about the effort issue. Like the no talent issue, as Coach Lefty always talks about. If you're not finishing on the block, you're going to get the hat thrown at you. Coach Searles is famous with the hat throw. He's good pretty distance on it. So, but that's the main thing. Is really finishing on plays, and that's the main thing that Coach Searles deals with, and I felt like really improving on that.
Yeah, I tell you, I thought Chase Williams played well. I thought McKinnon played well. Andrew Matua-Pawaka was a little all over the place, which I expected that. Deion Clark was solid, didn't have a lot of action his way, but those guys, I'm pleased with where they are, how they're working. Number one, and they're getting better, and they're giving me an honest day's work. And the game is we're seeing it all from our offense right now, which my credit goes to those guys what they're doing too. But that allows us. We're seeing it all. So our guy that's going to be good for us as we prepare for a season. But obviously we've got to catch up right now for everything. But they're making progress.
Definitely had to step up, knowing that all the seniors left, 2 seniors left. So I had to step up and take over that backup role. But still not take over the backup role, but try to compete in that starting position. Yeah.
Harper, definitely. There's no better teacher than playing. Danny got a lot of playing time last year. He's getting a lot of reps right now. If we can be fortunate and he stays healthy and he's on the field, he'll get better the more he plays. The more he plays, he gets a better understanding of the game. He's super athletic. He's really a quick learner for a guy who he doesn't have a lot of bad habits because he hadn't played a lot of football. So, he's athletic enough to do everything you teach him. I think like I said, he's a quick learner. He's really retained a whole lot from last season and those experiences on the field. So, he's coming along. Yes.
Oh man, I feel like we're gonna bring problems for the offense. Any team that we play, I think I love my team. I think we got a great D. and I think the offense is great too. So we're just trying to get better every day.
I think Ken's farther along. You know, he's been here one more year. He's playing a little faster, playing. You know, just he's had more experience within the defense and the calls and that type of thing. I think they're both really good prospects. I think they're going to continue to get better and grow. I think Ken right now is just a little farther along, just from an understanding and playing the game a little faster. You know, at this point.
All right, so state championship game, tore my ACL, slightly torn meniscus, and then got here, spring ball. I went through spring ball, and then I slightly tore my meniscus again. Got that repaired up over the summer, came back, pick game, pulled my right hamstring, came back 2 games later, Duke, pulled my left hamstring, and messed up my right hamstring again 2 weeks later, and then now I'm healthy. It was really aggravating. I mean, I just wanted to be out there on the field, at least on special teams, do my part and stuff. So it was really frustrating. But now I'm just trying to stay healthy, like get in the cold tub, even though like my legs aren't like hurting. Just trying to keep my body right.
It's fun actually playing our offense. It's a pain in the butt making all the adjustments, and your players got to be adjust to it and see it all. But in the long term, man, we've seen a whole season's worth of offense in a week and a half or however long we've been doing spring ball, just with all the shifts and motions and formations our offense is coming out in, and being in 3 tight ends, but really being in 11, 3 wide out sets, and so you really seen it all, and it's fun to be able to like, man, the season should be a piece of cake after what we're seeing right now. I've been inconsistent, kind of was all over the place a little bit in practices prior to Saturday scrimmage. I thought our game slowed down for Darion Green, Donovan Riley. I thought the game really slowed down for those guys, and it's a credit to what our offense is doing in practice. Our offense is playing at such a fast pace at times, and you're trying to think, and they're shifting and moving, and then you get into the game on Saturday, and it really slowed down for them. So I was pleased with a lot of the group. I was pleased with the group overall.
VTTV's Rachel Franks was at English Field when the baseball team took on Longwood.
Hi, I'm Rachel Franks for VTTV here at English Field, where the baseball team just beat Longwood 4-1. The Hokies started off the game with a run from Mark Zagunas in the first inning. In the bottom of the third, Tech scored 2 runs off 2 hits, but left 2 men on base. In the top of the 5th, Tech held the Lancers to 1 run by striking out a batter with the bases loaded to end the inning. In the 6th, the Hokies added another run to bring the score to 4-1. Neither team scored the rest of the game. Tech ended the night with 8 hits and no errors. Alex Perez got his first start of the season on the mound. He pitched 2 strong innings. Andrew McDonald pitched for the win. Hokies will be back at English Field on Friday when they take on Maryland. I got to talk to players and coaches after the game.
We were much more relaxed as a team today. 1, 2. The 9th inning is a good example. That ball that was hit up the middle, Ricky makes the play on. Makes a nice little flip, collecting out. Just played with a lot more confidence. Executed our pitches, stuck to the plan. Louis did a great job in that inning. And that's why we made that move to Andrew. I thought he probably gave all he had that inning, got out of the jam, get him out, get a fresh arm in there. Andrew did too, so probably mostly just confidence and playing relaxed.
And then I just felt really good tonight. It was put a lot of hard work in. Obviously, I've had some struggles earlier in the year, but it's one of those that Woodard and the coaches really kind of just pushed everyone, just keep going, keep working through everything. And tonight was one of those nights that everything paid off. So.
It's huge right now. I think Maryland actually lost tonight, so they're probably feeling bad about themselves, and we're going in with a W feeling good.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Brad.
The baseball team won the first game of the series against Maryland on Friday. The game started out very slow, with neither team scoring until the 5th inning. In the top of the 5th, the Terps scored 1 run off a sacrifice fly, but freshman Sage Janko saved it from becoming 2 runs when he had an amazing somersaulting catch to record an out. Tech fed off of Janko's momentum and scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th off an RBI from Alex Perez and an unearned run from Janko. In the 6th, Tech scored their last run of the game when Sean Kaselica tripled to bring Phil Secreta home. Maryland was unable to score another run in the game, and the Hokies came away with a 3-1 victory. Kaselica started on the mound for Tech. He threw 7 innings and allowed 5 hits and 1 run with 6 strikeouts. Brad Markey came in as relief for Kaselica and was awarded his first career save. He allowed 1 hit and threw 1 strikeout. The team played the Terps again on Saturday.
In that game, the baseball team lost to Maryland 4-2 at English Field. In the last home inning with 2 outs left, the Hokies went on a hitting streak when Marcus Agunas, Brendan Hayden, and Phil Scarretta all singled to load the bases, but Maryland closer Kevin Mooney got the final out despite the bases loaded, leading to a Hokie loss. Maryland held the lead, but 2 hits for the first, 2nd, and 7th innings. Tech answered with an RBI from Scarretta, bringing in Sean Kaselica. Zagunis and Hayden each had 3 hits and also were on base 4 different times, but the Hokies' bats struggled to bring in any players on base. Freshman Aaron McGarity picked up the loss for the Hokies. The 2 teams finished the series on Sunday at English Field.
VTTV's Rachel Franks was at English Field when the baseball team took on Maryland to wrap up the series on Sunday.
Hi, I'm Rachel Franks here for VTTV at English Field, where the Hokies just beat the Maryland Terrapins 6-4. It was Game 3 of Tech Baseball's series against Maryland. The Hokies were trying to get the series win, which would be important later on in ACC play. The Hokies started out the first inning with 2 hits and 3 men on base, but could not capitalize. In the second inning, Kyle Wernicke scored the first run of the game and stole home after Maryland's catcher dropped the ball. At the top of the 4th, the Terps took the lead when they scored 2 runs on 3 hits. Then, in the bottom of the 4th, once again, the Hokies left 3 men on base. In the 5th, Maryland added a run to their lead to make it 3-1. The Hokies scored 2 runs in the 6th when Ricky Surham brought Sean Kaselica home off a double, then made it across the plate himself. The Hokies took the lead when the Terrapins walked Kyle Wernicke to bring Mark Zagunas home. The Hokies added 3 more runs after that in the bottom of the 7th, but did leave 3 men on base. The Terps were able to add 1 more run, but it was not enough. Tech came away with a 6-4 victory. Brad Markey started the game for the Hokies. He pitched 6.1 innings. He allowed 3 hits and 3 runs with 3 errors, but had 2 strikeouts. Tanner McKinty came in and got the save for the Hokies after pitching the 9th inning and allowing no hits and no runs. The Hokies will be in Salem on Tuesday when they take on Tennessee.
It'll be the games like this past 2 weeks that is the reason I didn't live to be 4 more years older than. So you got video of that. It could be that way, but it's not. We just keep plugging away. That's kind of the makeup of our team is we tend to not get too high, but the positive of that is we don't get too low either. So we're very even keel, and it's aggravating, and there's a sense of frustration, but no, it's not the here we go again type. We're just pretty even keel. And then we're going to be battling with Maryland. We hold that tiebreaker, which is huge. We hold that tiebreaker with Pitt. So the more tiebreakers we hold, obviously that means the more wins we have, but it also just increases our odds and likelihoods of getting to the tournament. Now, I think if I look back, this is the same record we had last year at this time, and that's something I plan on talking to our guys. I think we started 7-11 last year in the ACC. That's what we are right now.
I mean, it was 6-3, so I knew there was 2 guys on. And at that moment, every run counts, but I knew when that last guy scored that run didn't count, and the guy on first base, when he had 2 outs, that guy didn't matter as long as I was getting the guy at the plate. So just focus on throwing strikes and getting the guy out.
And yeah, that's definitely happened a lot. Grounded into 2 double plays, bases loaded, and just kind of just bit the football a little bit right there. So I mean, kind of broke through towards the end. Oh yeah, that's huge. I mean, we were kind of struggling the past couple of weekends, but I mean, definitely get a big win at home is important to us. Just keep the momentum going, keep getting quality starts, and just keep the ball.
In that game, the baseball team got a solid win against number 30 Liberty on Monday. Sage Janko got the first at-bat for the Hokies and hit an inside-the-park home run after an error by a Liberty outfielder. Alex Perez followed with a double and then reached home on a sacrifice fly by Mark Zagunas. The Hokies added 2 more runs in the third inning to jump to a 4-0 lead. Tech starter Kit Sheets allowed just 1 hit in the first 4 innings and kept the Liberty offense off the board. However, the hitting power of the 30th ranked team became evident after a 2-run homer in the 5th and a solo home run in the 6th. With just a 1-point lead, the Hokies sent in Luke Scherzer for relief pitching. Scherzer allowed just 1 walk in the final 3 innings, as Tech picked up the 4-3 win. The win moved Tech to 18-17-1 on the season, while the loss snapped Liberty's 7-game winning streak. The Hokies will return to action on the weekend when they host Duke.
The softball team swept Pittsburgh in a doubleheader on Wednesday. In the first game, Tech got off to a hot start when Vanessa Gonzalez hit a 2-run home run and Danny Anderson brought Katie Smith home off a double to take a 3-0 lead. Those were the only runs Tech would score in the game. In the 6th, Pitt scored 2 unearned runs to put the game within 1, but the Hokies were able to stay strong defensively and finish the game 3-2. Kelly Hines pitched the win for Tech as she allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and had 6 strikeouts. In the second game, sophomore Maggie Tyler pitched a shutout, and the Hokies won 2-0. Tech scored both their runs in the 5th inning when Lauren Wolf scored an unearned run followed by a sacrifice fly from Bailey Little that scored pinch runner Tony Irwin. On the mound, Tyler only allowed 4 hits and threw 7 strikeouts. The team moved to 24-16 on the season and 13-6 in the ACC. The Hokies returned to the field on Saturday when they hosted rival Virginia.
The Virginia Tech softball team continued its recent hot streak, beating UVA in doubleheader games Saturday. The team increased their winning streak to 10 games in a row, beating UVA 8-2 and 6-0 in front of a season-high crowd of 873 fans. In the opener, the Hokies pounded 11 hits and 8 runs and cruising to the easy win. In the second inning, Bailey Little and pinch runner Kaylee Isaacs scored on Lauren Gaskell's single. Gaskell then scored on Kylie McGoldrick's double. The Cavaliers struck for 2 runs in the third inning on a home run, but the Hokies would end the game with 5 unanswered runs. Little cranked a solo home run in the 4th inning to make it 4-2. In the 5th inning, Logan Spa drove in Katie Smith and Danny Anderson with a single down the line, and in the 6th inning, Gaskell tripled before she was driven in by McGoldrick, and then McGoldrick scored on an error. Gaskell led the way at the plate with 3 hits, while McGoldrick, Spa, and Little all had 2. Smith and Anderson both had 1. In the second game, the Hokies jumped on the board in the 2nd inning when Smith launched a solo home run down the line. The score remained 1-0 until the 5th inning when the Hokies scored 5 unearned runs to bust it open. Gaskell and McGoldrick both scored on Smith's triple, and she scored on Spa's double. Pinch runner Tony Irwin scored on Vanessa Gonzalez's single. Gonzalez scored the last run of the inning on a passed ball. Maggie Tyler was dominant on the mound for the Hokies, throwing 7 shutout innings. The sophomore set a new career high with 10 strikeouts and allowed just 4 hits and no walks. Smith and Gonzalez both had 2 hits to lead the way, while Gaskell, McGoldrick, Spa, and Little each had 1. With the sweep, Tech moved to 26-16 overall, 15-6 in the ACC. The 2 teams wrapped up the 3-game series on Sunday.
In that game, the softball team defeated the Virginia Cavaliers with a score of 11-3 on Senior Day. The game ended early as the Hokies pulled out their 8-point win. The Cavaliers had the upper hand in the first inning as they took the lead 1-0, but the Hokies would score 8 runs in the second inning to give them the substantial lead. Amanda Ake hit a double to drive Katie Smith in for the first run, followed by a single by Laura Wolf to bring Ake home. Kylie McGoldrick drew a bases-loaded walk to make it 3-0. Finally, Danny Anderson cleared the sacks with a triple to the gap as Smith hit a 2-run home run to left field, bringing the score to 8-1. Kat Banks nailed a home run in the third inning, and Anderson hit a 2-run shot in the fourth to bring the score to 11-1. The Cavaliers attempted to get back in the game but only added 2 runs and fell short. The Hokies totaled 11 hits on the day, 2 apiece from Anderson and Smith, followed by Gaskell, McGoldrick, Ake, Wolf, Banks, Bailey Little, and Jessica McNamara, each adding an additional 1. Hokies seniors Anderson, Ake, Banks, and Wolf earned that senior night win over UVA as the Hokies improved to 16-1 in the ACC.
The lacrosse team lost 29 to number 6 Boston College on Wednesday. The Hokies didn't start well and allowed the Eagles to get the first 4 goals of the game. Tech was able to get on the board with the 16-minute mark when Julia Heaps scored off a cage roll. The Hokies added another goal less than a minute later from an up-close goal by Megan Will. However, Boston College took back control and scored 5 more goals in the first half. The score at halftime was 9-2. The Eagles were able to come out of the break and score a fast goal. Then Tech scored the next 3 goals to put the Hokies within 5. But it was a little too late as Boston College controlled possession most of the second half and added on 10 more points for the 11-point victory. Heaps and Will led the Hokies offense with 3 goals apiece. Freshman Meg Graham was in goal for Tech. She recorded 6 saves. The loss brings the team to 7-7 on the season and 0-5 in the ACC. The Hokies play their last home game of the season on Wednesday when they take on rival Virginia on Thompson Field.
That's all we have for you on this edition of Tech Total Access. Please join us next week for more hard-hitting sports action. As always,
go Hokies!